What's up, nerds? If you guys haven't heard by now, for the first time ever, being a ghoul is finally possible in Fallout. That's right, with the most recently released Fallout 76 season, Glow of the Ghoul, you yourself can now play as one of the irradiated, rotting social outcasts that the people in this community really are. Seriously though, guys, since it's come out, I have had a blast playing it. It's a brand new playstyle with its own quests, unique perks, and a whole bunch of buffs and debuffs, all of which I've been dying to talk about. But it does have some bugs and design choices that I think should and likely will be fixed in future updates. And also, I know some of you might know a lot of this information already. I mean, holy shit, I am running around this game and there are people that are level 3000. And you guys probably know everything there is to know about the game, but some of us work or take regular showers or have loved ones that like spending time with us. There's also some people that have never really gotten into the game and they don't know if it's worth giving it a shot. And I'm here to let you guys know that after 7 years and 58 updates, it is finally worth it. Alright guys, let's get into being a ghoul. Starting with the new questline added for it, it is very short and sweet, especially considering that it's only 2 quests. And you can literally boil them down to a handful of go here and talk to this person quests and like one defend this person while they do a thing quest. You know, the huge. Basically, to give it a rundown quicker than the quest actually is, all you really do is go to White Spring and talk to a dude named Lehman Price who's got radiation sickness after he was attacked by a bunch of ghouls. You gotta take this guy up to a cave way in the fucking northeast to talk to a radiation specialist. This specialist turns out to be a ghoul and pretty much says that if Lehman wants to live, then he too is going to have to become a ghoul. You have to convince him to do that, and then once you do, you obviously have to go with the specialist's rude and aggressive partner to find something called irradiated ore. Which I don't know if that's like different from ultrasight or what, but anyway, this is where you do the fending off to a bunch of ghouls while the partner goes into the highly irradiated area and collects the ore. After you're all done there, you have to get back to the cave with the specialist and give her the ore. She uses it to finish the serum that's supposed to turn people into ghouls, and then Price kind of just off, I guess, and then she asks you if you want to be a ghoul now. Which, like, of course, this is what we've all been waiting for. After you obviously say yes, shoot up that shit he's got on the table, walk into a radiation chamber, go unconscious, and wake up as a ghoul. See what I mean? Very fast and simple. It probably would have been cool if they made it something that was, like, random from taking in too much radiation, but I don't know how possible or enjoyable that would really be, so hey, at least we got it though. But now that we're a ghoul, let's take a look at that gameplay. The first gameplay changes you'll likely notice are the sort of survival focused ones, mainly because the meters for them in your hub change and you'll see that immediately upon waking up. Starting with hunger and thirst, they are completely taken away and replaced by a new meter called feral. That's right, feral as in like these things. Now this is pretty easy to control. You see, instead of sustaining yourself by drinking clean water and eating clean food, you now can keep yourself from going insane by taking all your chems. Yep, as a ghoul, the drugs are now your food, meaning Fallout 76 players can finally make a character build based on their local 7-Eleven crackhead. But going feral can be pretty bad, or good, I don't know. It depends on how you look at it and what your stat build is, I guess. It starts out pretty similar to hunger and thirst. When your meter is high, you get buffs. Buffs specifically to your strength, your endurance, and your health. Then, as it drops, you lose those buffs and gain the opposite debuffs. This is until you hit 0% and go full feral. Not full feral meter, that's good. Empty feral meter, which is full feral, which is bad. But once you get there, that shit changes drastically. Your endurance is dropped by 5 points, your AP by 20 points, your health by 30 points, your charisma by 99, and your accuracy by 300%. But I mean, hey, it does boost your melee damage by 150%, so that's neat. Moving on from feral though, at the beginning of this I mentioned another meter that sees a change, which is your health. More specifically, the radiation meter that decreases your health. Obviously, ghouls would be immune to radiation, but the effect doesn't just go away. No, no, no. Instead, now radiation heals you, and once your health is full, it actually starts to fill up your health with a green bar that acts as sort of a shield or like second life. This green bar is called glow, and it isn't just used for shield, but can also be used for certain ghoul specific perks, which we'll talk about in a minute. This means though that obviously radiation has now gone from a big no-no to a big yes yes. So stay true to that crackhead playthrough and make sure to get all your food out of the dumpsters behind the alley. You also have to remember to stay away from anything that takes away rads or your ability to absorb them, like radiation resistance, rad away, rad X, and even teammates with rad sponge. They'll suck all that toxic goo right out of you. Wait a minute. But another thing you should notice pretty quickly upon becoming a ghoul, especially if you look around Radiant Hills a little bit, is J-Vo, a ghoul who actually will give you something called a disguise. I don't know why I said something called a disguise like you guys don't know what a disguise is. There's not anyone else who gives away disguises in the game, or the reason to say, but you guys know what you know what a disguise is. She gives you a disguise you'll need in order to complete quests for certain factions. Obviously, like the Brotherhood, the Secret Service, the Settlers, the Raiders, and even the Overseer. Most of these make sense, especially because the game only takes place a few years or so after the bombs dropped, and I mean, people still hate ghouls in Fallout 4, so what do you expect? The one that is weird to me, though, is the Wayward, not only because of Mort, clearly, but also because Duchess hid a whole scorched and protected it. So, like, come on now. I'll talk about all that, though, when I get into the bugs and what I feel are some design flaws. For now, let's get into some of these perks. Look, there are a bunch of awesome new perks that have been added just for ghoul characters, as well as a couple pretty good ones and ones that are just straight up copies of other perks. But I am not going to describe every single one in every single special stat, obviously for time purposes. But I will throw them on the screen here for a little bit, so I guess pause, have a look around, and read them if you want to go through every single one, or just look them up after the video. I do want to highlight a couple of them though, especially the ones that are more on the unique side, which like I stress more on the unique side because I don't know how really different these are from other perks and things and effects that exist within the game. What I'm more looking at is ones that utilize the added in unique playstyle mechanics like glow and feral. Starting with ones that use glow, there's specifically a few that use it just to increase damage. These are sort of the ones I was talking about where the effect itself isn't unique to the game, but like the way it works is. I mean, seriously looking at it, your character is using the radioactive energy from within their body and imbuing it into their attacks. That's awesome. You also have other perks that are like this that don't expend your glow but are based on how high it is. Some examples can include Science Monster, which can give you bonus damage after you get hit, or Brick Wall, which can make you immune to being staggered, which is something I wish existed in Morrowind. Although some of these are, like I said earlier, just straight up copy and pastes of other perks, but with a condition. The condition generally being that your glow is high, which either means like 50 or 75%. I'm not sure, and I don't want to do the math. Examples of these are like Action Ghoul to Action Boy, glowing criticals to better criticals, and hyper reflexes to evasion. The cool part though is you're not locked out of getting the non-ghoul variants of those perks. So you can take something like hyper reflexes and combine it with evasion and serendipity and get up to 74% chance of dodging attacks. But some of the perks are the exact same as others and lock you out of getting those other ones, like Wild West Hands with Quick Hands. I don't really get that one, but whatever. The final special stat perk I want to mention is Feral Presence. It's pretty much just suppression, but because it's based on the feral meter, it's unique even amongst the other special perks for being a ghoul. Plus, with all the health debuffs, that feels like something you might need. And lastly, for perks, I have to mention the two new ghoul-only legendary perks. These are Action Diet, which increase your health and feral meter with each kill, and then Feral Rage, which makes all your glowing abilities cost less whenever you're feral. Personally, I prefer Action Diet, but that's just because I've been kind of keeping my feral meter high, staying away from being feral, and the little extra health per kill is nice. Though I wouldn't mind being able to use my glow abilities for longer. Alright, let's get into these negatives. Obviously, because of how much it changes, how new it is, and because, well, Bethesda, there's some bugs, and I've experienced what I believe are most of them firsthand. They are mostly small, but noticeable. An example of one that threw me off almost immediately because I had to log out right after becoming a ghoul for a reason I'm not remembering right now. But almost every time you log back in, your ghoul will likely switch to the default male design look, even if you're a female. From what I can tell so far, this is pretty easily changeable. You just go into the change appearance menu, and without doing anything, it'll just immediately switch back to what you were before. So pretty much just go in and out of that and you're good. Another one I noticed pretty quickly because I have Life Giver is if you have anything like that that increases your health beyond your endurance and level based max, then it's likely that your glow won't fill up all the way and will just go to where that max is and not to where it is now. I'm also now remembering why I had to immediately log out and log back in, which is because when you first become a ghoul, you won't have access to the legendary perks still. I didn't just remember that right now while filming this. I remembered that in the process of writing it, so all of that written into the script. I just want to be transparent. But as for bugs, those are really the only ones I've experienced so far. There are a couple things that I think are just like gameplay design choices that I do personally feel should be changed. I already mentioned how I don't like needing a disguise due to the Wayward quest, despite the fact that they have ghoul friends. But I also think you should be able to use being a ghoul in certain interactions around the world, like with Moore or with Penelope Hornwright and other characters. So there's things involved with the whole disguise system that I think should be changed. Firstly, the disguises themselves, I think it would be cool if in the future they had more options. As for now, it's just kind of a sack hood and a duster. And also giving us the ability to remove them without going back to JVO. Maybe even making the disguise system just work off of how much of your face is covered. I know this might do away with the whole need for JVO and her disguises. I feel like there's a way they could still include her, but if it does, I don't know. I just don't know how good I feel about this system in general. Speaking of JVO though, I think it's very clear that the whole of Radiant Heals could be updated going forward. Aside from her, you can't actually interact with anyone, nor is there any traders for you to barter with. There's also no little side or daily quests for them either. Like, to be fully honest, it feels more akin to like a mod than it does a update for the game, especially with the kind of just repeated short list of lines from every single NPC there, and the fact that they all have the same exact name. And even your interactions with JVO feel a little, I don't know, modish to me. It's just not super fleshed out. Obviously, though, it's just come out, so all these bugs and things that I think are flaws will likely be fixed or changed in the future. Or maybe I'm stupid and they won't. But seriously, though, the playstyle has been really fun. I've been running a ghoul character for a while now, and like I said in the beginning of this video, I have had an absolute blast doing it. I've been running a character based on Cooper Howard from the show, because I'm a nerd for this, clearly. But I've seriously had an amazing time, so I definitely recommend giving it a try. And I know there's a lot of people that don't like Fallout 76. They absolutely hate it and they refuse to give it a try, but just hear me out. Hop off of Obsidian's dick for a little bit and give this a try, because this is an experience all Fallout fans have been waiting for since these games started. And I better not hear anything about ghoul characters in Tactics or Brotherhood of Steel, because those games don't even count. Alright, later nerds.